Hi, it's Robin with Tech Plaza AI, and in this video, we're going to build a simple real-world automation using n8n. So let's get into it. The tools in this tutorial are n8n, Gmail, and Airtable. So automation is great for repetitive, boring, or manual tasks that take a lot of time and are prone to error. We're going to automate one of those tasks right now. So here's the scenario. A coworker is tasked with manually creating a weekly sales report. Every week, he has to manually retrieve sales data from a data warehouse, separate the sales orders by status, some completed orders by hand and post them, and create a spreadsheet of the orders that are still being processed for the sales managers to review them. This report is monotonous and requires a lot of time to prevent errors. He would really like to automate the report, and that is what we're going to do today.
In order to start this tutorial, you'll need to go to n8n.io. And if you don't have an n8n account, don't worry, because you'll be able to log in and create an account and start for free. After you've logged in, you'll be on your homepage, and it'll look like this. You should go up to the corner here and click Create Workflow, and that will take you to the editor. Now we'll go to the Nodes panel and search for manual trigger. Here it is, and we'll add it to our workflow here. Next, we'll extract data from the data warehouse using an API endpoint given to us by the data warehouse administrator. In case you're wondering what exactly an API is, here's a pretty good answer here.
An API, Application Programming Interface, is a set of rules and protocols that allows two different software programs to communicate with each other and exchange data. It acts as a messenger or a middleman, handling requests and responses between applications, much like a waiter in a restaurant takes your order to the kitchen and brings back your food.
So now we're going to use what is called an HTTP request node. We're going to add that to our automation. So we're going to go over here and open the Nodes panel again, and we're going to search for HTTP request. There it is. Click it to add, and you'll notice that the node opens up immediately and lets us see these parameters that we're going to have to configure. First, we want to confirm that this method is set to get, because we are going to be getting information, not posting information. So you can leave this as the default as get. The URL for the API is something that the database administrator has given us. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in here. And we want to turn the send headers on, because we'll need those to send information. The header name and value parameters are something that need to be unique, and they were given to us again by the database administrator. The name, I'm going to put in just something like unique ID. And for the value, I'm going to put in something that the database administrator has given us. Up here for authentication, you want to select generic credential type. And when you do that, you'll notice that this you have now a drop down of options. And so you want to go and select header authentication. Here's the part where we would normally, if we had new credentials, we would go here and create new credentials and put in an API key, which is like a password, and the value that the database administrator has given us, but I've already done that here. So this is all good, but this is where your API key and value would go. So now we have everything we need to execute this step to get some sample output. So let's click execute. And you see that we have records from the data warehouse. The columns we have are order ID, which is unique value for each order. We have customer ID, which is the unique value for each customer. We have employee name, which represents the salesperson that made the sale for this record. We have order price, and the last column is order status. And order status consists of two values, booked and processing. Booked are the orders that have already been completed. Processing are the orders that are still processing. So now you're going to want to click the X up here to get out of this configuration. And whoop, don't know why that was all the way over there. Anyway, we go back out to the editor. And as always, make sure you save everything. Make sure you save and save often. So we're at the point where we want to put the data that we have extracted from the data warehouse into a database structure that we're going to build on Airtable. So what you need to do is log into Airtable, and if you don't have an Airtable account, again, don't worry about that. You can create an account and you can start for free. So log into Airtable and okay. Okay, so here we are in Airtable. I believe when you create a new account, they ask you if you want to use AI or if you want to build something from scratch. And you should choose build from scratch. So you go down here in the corner, the left-hand corner, and click create. And it'll ask you if you want to build with AI. Here it is. If you want to build with AI or you want to create your own application. So click start. You want to create your own application. And what this does is it gives you this kind of generic table. And we're going to go and start with this and change the names and change all of the information that we need to configure here. So we're going to go back to n8n for a minute because we need to see these columns that we have. We have 5 columns. We have order status, customer ID, employee name, order price, and order status. We're going to create those columns over here in Airtable. So here we go. We're going to create the columns. Just double click on the column heading here. The first column was order ID, and the type of data this is going to be a number, and we don't want the thousands comma separator in here, so you're going to turn this off. Save. And this is going to become customer ID. Same thing, it's going to be a number. Turn the comma separator off. And we have employee name employee name. That's going to be text, and it is going to be a single line of text. That's the type. And this column is going to be order price. Oh, spell. This is going to be a number. And decimal place, since it's going to be currency, we'll just have 2 decimal places. Then turn off the thousands separator again. Oh, here's what we want to do for these. These are numbers, but they don't have any decimal places. We want to, forgot to turn those off. Let's turn those off. Set them to 0. Save. Okay. And the last column is going to be order status. And it is going to be text, and it's going to be a single line of text. Save. Okay. Okay, I'm getting this message because apparently the type of field that this column is becoming, it's becoming a single line of text, is going to affect this old field attachments. And we don't care about that because they're going to delete that anyway. So we confirm the change, and this we can delete. So here we are. We have our table columns ready to go. Oh, let's move this over here. And last thing, you'll want to rename these. So I'm going to rename this database. Let's see, ABC Data Warehouse. And I'll rename this table the orders table. I'm going to save it. And now we're done. Okay, so before our Airtable database can be accessed by n8n, we need to create a token giving n8n permission to do this. So we're going to go back out to our home page, and under your settings, there should be, you click on over here on the upper right hand corner, there should be, I'm going to go to Builder Hub. When you get to Builder Hub, you want to go to Personal Access Tokens. And you want to create a new token. Make the name something like, oh, I don't know, n8n. No, that's not right. n8n. And then, okay, maybe we'll say credentials. And gosh, I just cannot spell today. Credentials. Okay, and you'll want to select the scope. So go here, click Add Scope. You want to have Data Records Read. Click Add again. Add Data Records Write. And also add Schema Basis Read. And as far as access, you want to choose what the token has access to. You can choose all resources, but it's wiser to choose only the things that it needs access to So we're going to choose ABC Warehouse and create the token. Once your token has been created, you need to copy this information because you're not going to see it again. Copy and hit done. Okay, now that the token is created, we're going to go back to n8n, go to your home page, click Credentials, go up here to the right-hand side, upper right-hand side of the page, click Create Credentials. You're going to type in what type of credential it is, which is an Airtable. Search for it, Airtable credential. Choose Airtable Personal Access Tokens API. Hit Continue. And right here, you are going to paste that token that you just copied, and you're going to save it. So now we're ready to add our Airflow node to our workflow. So we're going to go back to workflows, go back to workflow we were working on, and we're going to add a node. We're going to look for Airtable, and notice that all of these products, there's the original product that comes up, you hit an arrow, and it goes to the actions that you can choose. And we're going to choose Create Record, and that pops open the things we need to configure. So now we are going to choose the credential to connect with. If you didn't have a credential here, you could create a new credential, but since we already created this one, we'll choose this one. This can stay as it is. Create, make sure the operation is create, and we are going to choose here where it says base, we're going to choose the database we just created in Airtable. And for table, we'll choose orders. This part, you have the choice of mapping these columns, dragging and dropping these columns over here and mapping them manually. But since we have spelled everything in the same way in the Airtable that the fields are over here, we can just say map automatically, and it should work. So let's test it. Click execute step. And here we go. We have our results here. So you'll see that each record is, you have all of the information here. You have everything that we saw earlier. And it's pulling the data exactly the way we want it. And if you go to Airtable, you will see that it's taken all of those records and inserted them into Airtable exactly the way that we expected it to, and the information and data looks exactly the way that we expect. Now we're going to close out of here, and we're going to save it. Make sure that everything's saved. Now, if you remember from the scenario, the orders need to be separated by status. Either they're booked or they're processing. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We are going to we're going to use a filter, and we're going to add a filter here to filter the records before they go into the database. So we are looking for an if router because we're going to add some conditional logic here. So search for if, click it to add. So to configure this, we are going to choose, at first we're going to make sure this says expression, okay? And then we're going to choose order status, slide that in there. I'm going to make sure this says is equal to a string, and it is equal to value 2. We're going to say processing. You want to make sure that if you hover here, you'll see these options, and you want to make sure that this says expression as well. And this square right here, if you push this, you can pop out a window and see this a little bit better. Actually, that was the wrong pop out. It should be this one because it shows you the expression. So if order status is equal to processing, that is the expression we're building here. And if you execute this step so far, you'll see that we only get the records where the order status is processing. So moving on, we now have the if router set up to only insert the records that are still processing into the Airtable database. So in order to test that, I'm going to delete everything from the Airtable database, which you can see here I've already done. I'm going to go back. I'm going to run this whole thing. So let's see what happens. It's taking a minute. Okay, the workflow executed successfully. If you go back here, you can see that we have our records in the Airtable database, and we only have the ones that are still processing. Our client has informed us that he only needs the order ID and the employee name for the sales that are still being processed. So in order to accomplish that, we are going to remove this briefly, this connection, and we are going to add a node in between those two nodes. We're looking for the edit fields node. We're going to add that. And as you see, we need to configure this, this area, the fields to be set. We can leave the manual mappings, that can be the default. We can just leave that there. We're going to drag the fields in here that we need. So we need order ID, and we need employee ID. Now we're going to execute this step, and we see that we only have order ID and employee name. So we'll exit out of here, and we'll reconnect this create records node. So now we're going to go back to Airtable, and we are going to create a new table that has some different columns. Okay, so now we will add a table, and make sure you choose start from scratch so that AI does not think you need its help in creating the table. Start from scratch, and we're going to name this table processing orders. Save. And we're going to do the same thing we did the last time we created a table. This just needs to be order ID. It's a number. We don't need the thousand separator, and we don't need for it to have decimal places. And this will be employee name, single line of text. And we can delete these other fields. Delete, delete, and delete this field as well. Okay, so we have order ID and employee name. So you'll want to make sure that this is connected to create record. You open create record, and instead of the orders table, you want to select the processing orders table, and this should be set to map manually. And we're going to execute step. It's taking a minute, don't know why. And we have some results. If you go back to Airtable, there are now records in the new table. So if you notice, we still have to do something with the records that have been completely processed. So in order to handle that, we will click on Add, and we will look for a code node to add. This is the only code we'll be using here. Select the one that is JavaScript. So the code snippet that we need to put into this node is actually available in some of the n8n documentation, and I will leave a link to that document in the comments, the descriptive comments section. It's here, it looks like this. You are going to go to that link, you'll find this code, you will copy, and then you'll go back to the JavaScript code node, and we are going to paste this in here. Okay, we're going to close this node, make sure these are connected. And this next step, you have a few choices here. We need to sum up the total of the records that have been, where the processes have been complete. The processing's been complete, and then send that to our sales team. We could add a node to post that number in a Slack channel or on the team's Discord. But to make things a little bit simpler, we're just going to send them an email. We're just going to use Gmail and send them an email with the figures in that email. For this part of the tutorial, I'm going to show you a short film that shows you how to set up your Gmail connection to this workflow.
Hi there, I'm Jamie, and I'm the new Senior DevRel in Education here at n8n. Today I'm going to show you how to set up Google OAuth authentication. This will allow you to connect Google Sheets and other Google services to your workflows. You're going to need two things: a Google Cloud account and your n8n instance. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is create a Google Cloud project. So head over to cloud.google.com, and if you already have a console account, you can click on console. If not, click on start free. Once we're in here, you want to click on the project dropdown on the top left, and then create a new project by clicking new project. Let's name it something useful and click create. It'll take a couple of seconds to create it. Once that's done, you'll be able to select it from the project selector. The next step is we need to enable the APIs for the services we want to use. To do that, we click on Menu, come down to API and Services, and then click on Enable APIs and Services. The first one we're going to enable is Sheets, because that's what we're using. Click on Enable. While it's enabling, I'm going to enable a couple of other common ones I use, which include Calendar, Mail, Drive. Drive is also needed for other services, so it's best to enable it now. And that's all we'll need. The next thing we need to create is the OAuth consent screen. You can do that from the APIs and Services page. Click on OAuth consent screen on the left, then click Get Started. Give the app a name, n8n's a good one. Select your account, click Next. If you're using a Google Workspace account, then internal will be available. If not, select external. That's usually because you're using a Gmail account like I am. Set up a support account. Agree to the services and click Continue. Now, let's create that OAuth consent screen. The next thing we need to do is we need to create the OAuth client. This will give us the client ID and the secret that we need to put into the credentials for n8n. Click Create OAuth Client. The kind of application will be web application. Give it a name that's useful. I think n8n Client's a good one. And the only thing we need to do is we need to add a redirect URI. This is available in the credential setup. So come back to your instance. Let's create a new credential, and we just need to click to copy. Take this back into the console, paste it, and click Create. You do get your client ID, so it's easy to copy it here, and then paste it in. Go back to console, click OK. Now to get the client secret, we click in on the client, click Copy, go back to your credential, click Paste. If everything's set up correctly, then you'll get the sign in with Google. If you sign in with Google now, you will get an application blocked error because the app is in test mode. I'll show you what I mean. What we can do to fix this is we can go back to the Google console, click on Audience, and then publish the app. By publishing the app, you won't get the access blocked error, and you also won't need to re-authenticate your app every 7 days. Now go back to your credentials, click Sign in with Google, sign in with the account we just added as a test user. It hasn't been verified, but you can continue anyway. Select all, continue, and we're connected. It's best to name this something useful. I'm going to call this Google Auth, as I can use this for other Google nodes as well. Close that. Now let's test this. What am I doing? I'm creating a new spreadsheet called my n8n created sheet, and inside of that, it's got sheet 1. Now, if we come over to Sheets, there is our spreadsheet. Leave a comment below on what other videos you'd like to see, and I'll do my best to build them for you. Thanks for watching, and happy flowgramming.
So now that you have Google Gmail configured, we are going to add a Gmail node. Let's go here, Gmail, and this will be, I'm going to select send a message. So the credential you'll use is the credential that you just set up. Leave this as a default, message, send. And for this, you can just put in your own email address just to connect and send yourself a test email. Let's put something as the subject, like attention sales. Let's say sales test email. And as far as the message, we're going to use some parameters to send the sales totals. It's part of this email. The code I'm going to put in here, I actually have it, and I will leave. I'll leave the link. It's part of n8n documents. I'll leave the link in the description area. Go to n8n documents. Here's the code. You're going to copy this. You're going to paste this here. Let's see. We don't need this, any of this with unique ID. Let's just get rid of that part so that we just have the sales total. And that's that. So make sure that this is connected to the Gmail node. Save. So now we are going to test this whole thing. Hit execute workflow, and we'll see what happens. Okay, it executed successfully. And now we will go here, open this email, and you can see that I have the sales email stating that, here are our completed orders and the total value of those orders. The only thing that you will do to change this workflow is that you will replace this manual trigger that we've been using just to build and test this workflow. You'll replace it with there's a scheduled, you'll look up schedule trigger, you'll select that, replace the schedule trigger, this one with the schedule trigger. You'll be able to use this to schedule this weekly, say just at 9 o'clock every Monday morning. It'll run by itself. And then you won't, have to do anything more to it. So there you have it. You've witnessed a tutorial on building a very simple real-world workflow that will save a lot of time and will run smoothly, and you just turn it on, you won't have to do anything else. Hope you liked the tutorial, and I thank you for tuning in.